I tell you that I believe that God perfectly prepared me for this position, and if I believe that in my heart, then I can't back up. I can't back up. No matter how somebody might say, well, and I got the call before we went into that meeting where they said, don't do it. Don't do it. It's going to trouble some folk. Don't do it. And if you do it, then there's a possibility that you might not be able to survive, and you might not, I heard this, I heard. But somebody has got to stand up. Somebody got to stand up. And I say that if we all do it together, then we can't be stopped. Yes, sir. If we do it together, we can't be stopped. Are there any questions? Because I know there are a lot of issues, a lot of things some of you may have heard, some of you may want to ask about. I don't know. Even when it comes to what's wrong with the town. Come on, let's talk about that. What's wrong with the town? What is it that's causing so much ruckus? Well, I tried to explain this down in Baton Rouge at the Capitol the other day. I said, here's where we are. We have deficiency in the area of our accounting. Let's tell it like it is. Now, how did that come about? We all know that when I walked in, everybody with the experience walked out. And they said, even though you've never been here before, learn it, do it the best you can. Okay. So the area that we were weakest in, Kenneth Folden, I have to call the name. Kenneth Folden was the auditor, had been the auditor forever. What threw me was that I could not understand how, when I came in January '07, that represented 1/2 of the fiscal year that I was responsible for, and 1/2 of the year that Esmile was responsible for. That audit went through without a hitch. My question was, how could we do so well the first year, having done the same thing that last 6 months that we did the next year, and then all of a sudden he can't audit? Records are so bad I can't audit. And I'm thinking, then 6 months ago, there should have been some problems too. And since you were the auditor, it looked like you would have pointed out those deficiencies and we would have had an opportunity to fix. But he didn't do it, and it took us a year to go through the council saying, keep paying him. And I keep saying, why? Why? Keep paying him. We say keep paying him. And so we did for a whole year and got no audit done. And that next year, which was '09, we had a new audit firm to come in, one that they all respected. That audit firm audited the town of Jonesboro and had 9 findings. 9 findings, of which we fixed. So I'm thinking, surely this year we're going to have a good audit. Oh no, when they come this year, they say, you know what? Records in just as bad a shape, and the person that was responsible was your weakness then, and she's your weakness now. And I'm saying, why didn't you tell me that last year? Yeah, because those folk who were in control, those folk who they thought were going to come back the next year, those folk who thought that they thought were going to win the election, they thought that's who they were going to be beholden to. And when God said, no, that's not the way it's going to be, a new group is coming in and Thompson's going to be there too, now what do? Come clean. Let's start telling the truth now. And now that you have told us, and I'm sitting there in Baton Rouge, I'm sitting there holding folders that has 2008, 2009, and 2010 recommendations by the auditors and prescriptions that we have done everything that you said for us to do. Everything. And now we got to do some more. And we'll keep doing it. This will be my first year. My first year with a council that's working with me. My first year. So I say to you, watch the first year to see what we do. Because we're going to get a bad finding again within the next 30 days on this audit that we just came out of. Don't be dismayed. It's going to happen. But the next year, that's when you start watching and giving the accountability for what we do. Okay? Any questions?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
I want to know. I thought I liked it, but I guess it doesn't. Because you know what happened with me this time. Oh, well, you know, when this last time I just went to jail with this last time.
Tell us.
Yeah, I'm finna tell y'all. This time with Candace Hudson, the police. You know what I'm saying now? You ain't stand up for me. You ain't stand up for me. My mama came to you and asked you. You ain't stand up for me. Jimmy T, the judge, he gonna give me the 5 days. What you call it? Yeah. The girl hit a white girl hit me in a car, and because she was white, she got away with it. Oh no, it wasn't no intoxicating. You know what? You want to see the ticket?
That's why.
Right there. Pedestrian on the highway. No.
Okay, let me say this.
Yeah, give it up.
Yeah. Listen, I want for all of our people to be heard because this allowed me to be able to make a point. When I came in as mayor, I worked before I came here 15 years as legal redress committee chairman. And so that means that everybody in this town, parish, who had a problem of any sort, they found me. And I did whatever I could, and all y'all know who I am and what I do. And so even now, as mayor, there are still some folk, and I don't have this against anybody, who still believe that in event of that troublesome time, that they will come to me. And sometimes I can help, and sometimes I can't. What I have learned in the process of my maturing is that I'm going to lose some support for some folk when I can't help. I'm not upset with them because I still love them. All the time I will. But we have to still try to find some kind of way to stay together. And stop doing, I remember a guy, I'll just mention this because he should be out here, he may be up here. He got a ticket. And when he came to me and he said, will you help me with that ticket? And I said, no, sir, I cannot. I said, if you check my record, you'll find that in my office, in the ticket division, that I'm nowhere in there. And I didn't know all the time why I was being that kind of straight, because I would certainly want to help somebody with a ticket. They had been doing it before I got there, and so it makes me look really bad when the other guys would do it, can't do it, should have been doing it, but I can't do it. And I tell you what, had I not listened to what was inside of me that said that you do it this way for all the people. Now, will there be some folks that's going to have a problem with the fact that you don't do it, can't do it? Yes, there will. But all we're going to do is hope and trust that somewhere throughout the process of our educating of ourselves, about growing up and understanding what's really going on, that we'll understand that it's about more than us. It's about more than, I cannot put myself in a position that jeopardizes what it is that I call myself trying to do for the whole. So if anything, I can only say to my people out here, is let's make sure that we live within the law. Amen. Let's make sure that we don't do or get ourselves caught up in anything that we got to come here trying to figure out some kind of way to work ourselves out of. I'll never stop loving this lady. I don't care what she says, how she says it. That's just who I am. It is what it is. It is what it is. That's okay. Is there any other comment about anything? Okay, anything? Yes, ma'am.
Becoming Jackson, Jonesboro citizen. And the one thing I've heard so many times is that, and I want you to tell me, that you haven't been doing audit. And then the next thing was that you wanted to double your salary. And I said, when they told me 30,000 or something, I said, I told the person, man, you make more than 30,000. The man sure make more than 30,000. But I just want to know, you have been doing an audit. Because my mouth, I couldn't believe it. I just can't believe he has not done an audit. I
This is our mayor pro tem, and he's been very, very active. I see shaking right in his hand, but I'm going to let the mayor pro tem deal with the then he said he doesn't need the mic.
We need the mic. Can't hear him.
We can't hear you.
Respond to the mayor's salary being increased. You can take that jacket off his back. He didn't ask for that. He came in, I looked at the paperwork, I looked at the numbers, and I thought, Obama not getting the same pay as George Washington, is it? Times change.
Yep.
All right. I stepped up and said, and I didn't say 60,000.
No, he didn't.
If Andy Brown can get 136,000 and the tax assessor get 102,000, why he can't get 100?
What the media has done, and they're very, very good at sensationalizing. They want to come in and make that continue to be a story. Even the lady who came into my office, Megan Fitzgerald, Channel 10, she said, well, I understand that you're trying to double your salary. I said, well, it depends on how you say that in terms of how the people are going to hear it and to receive it. Because she said, well, do you mind if I would ask you how much you're making? And I said, no, I don't mind. I said, I'll make $35,000. And she said, oh, no, that can't be. He said, oh, no, that's not even news. She said, I'll go back and tell my staff that this is not news. But somehow they continued to work it out to what became a part of their main story. I told them that I just happened to remember how that came about, and I was there when Richard Juba and these guys made the deal to cut that salary to bring it back to that position because they did not want to see me make the money. That's right. And their thing was not only did they reduce his salary to that, but they also took the car and the transportation. They wanted to make sure that if I did come in that time, and along the same time, they also cut a deal. Richard Juba cut a deal with Ira Reeves. And that deal was that Richard would become the alderman these last 4 years, and Ira would become the mayor. And the reason they did that was because he was not sure, Richard, that he could beat me that last time, and he needed that last term to win to be able to retire with full benefit. That's where it came from. So when you come to understand what they did, and I said, and the guy said, we don't mind you getting a raise if you get the meeting today. We just want it to be reasonable. And that's what I asked. I said, so you were on the council for the last 4 years, and you mean to tell me that my fire chief was making $55,000, my chief was making $50,000, and I'm making $35,000, and you thought that $35,000 was reasonable? See, yeah, it maybe was for me. But if that's reasonable, I said, you then also passed an ordinance that I rejected. It was a pay increase that would have given me, if I worked for 16 years, straight 15 years, it would have then paid me what the mayor was making in 1998 at that point. See, I just happen to know the history. And for those of us who want to know, and I keep asking them, if you want to know, come by the office and let's talk about it, if you really want to know. So, what we're going to do now is to continue to talk to our people. We're going to continue to talk to our pastors. We're going to continue to make them aware and educated about things that they may need to know about, because the more information you have, the more likely you would be to be more supportive. Any other, I'm just looking around and seeing so many of my friends, man. Mike was back there, professional football player. Y'all don't know him, probably some of y'all don't. But Mike said he was going to be here, and I really appreciate that. And I see some other guys from other municipalities and shake it. Come on. Can't hear you. We can't hear you.
I just wanted to ask you what do we need to do between now and this
Okay, all right. Now, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. What that we need to do. All right, we'll end on this note because we'll wrap up, and I didn't want to shut anybody off if you had any questions. And actually, we'll start doing this at least once a month right out here so we can talk about it. But he asked a good question. One thing we want to do now is start to prepare and to organize. I am already writing, putting this in writing, trying to put this together so that I can send a copy to the United States Attorney General. That's what I'm doing. We're going to send a letter also to President Barack Obama. And we want them to know that this is just not me. I understand that it's happening all over the state of Louisiana and probably happening all over the United States. There is an onslaught, there's an attack on black elected officials. And we look down in White Castle and we see the White Castle mail get taken out. We look down there at Port Allen, we see them being taken out the other day. You look over at, there's a couple other mayors, waterproof over there. It's happening all over the place. Yes, yes. So now that they can see that this starts on the local level, see, I'm going to share something with you. I got a telephone call from a guy, white guy. He called me and said, I'm in Baton Rouge, and there's a meeting going on down here at Baton Rouge, and you are the central part of the conversation. And he said, they said that they will not be satisfied until they see you in prison. And he said, now, I don't know you really. He said, but I met you a few years ago. And he said, you need to know what's going on down here. And I said, hey, man, that sounds serious enough that I'll come to Baton Rouge to talk to you. And he said, nope. He said, I'm on my way to Jonesboro to tell you about it. And I met him in Ruston. And he sat there and told me basically what was going on in the town of Jonesboro. And he said, they have set their sights on you. And they have decided that they would not let go until they see you in prison.
Tell you who they were?
We didn't get any names. We didn't get any names. I was doing good. I thought to get that. Yeah. Yes, question. Yeah.
What I wanted to say was yesterday we discussed money, just in case money. The just in case money is for just in case we need Al Sharpton down here. And we were going to get some money up from everybody because I think he wants like, how much is that? About $6,000 to $10,000 for showing up. And we know when he shows up, that gets media attention, and we need media attention. We don't need to hide from it. It needs to be known throughout the country. And I wanted to just address that to get the just in case money, because just in case we might need him down here, the way this mess is going. So that's all I wanted to say. And I think he said Charlotte was going to take some money yesterday, and you can write a check to who, or a cash or what? Your checks and your money orders, the Jackson Parish Civil Rights Forms, all money orders, like I'm going to do. But, and that starts when? So the account is open already. That's all I wanted to say. Okay.
All right. You got that. That's what we're going to start doing. I got calls today from attorneys. There are those of you who've been saying to me that it's time to get busy now. So we've gotten some calls, and it just so happens that these calls from these attorneys happen to be the same attorneys that handled the case for the Gina 6. So we'll be meeting tomorrow, and then we'll find out what we're going to need to do. And on 88.1 Monday morning, I'll be on with Tony Brown, Eyes Open show. That'll probably be an hour long, and we'll get the word out even more. So since it's a fight that folk want, then it's a fight that folk don't get.
Monday morning, what time?
All right. I've been making steps ever since
I would like to know, do we have a city attorney? Who is the city attorney?
City attorney right now is Douglas Stokes. He is one of the sometimes it can interrupt to have not to get one. I'm in court right now. I've been tortured for about
Well, I was just asking because I knew that there was contradiction, because that's what happened in Brown. They were the city attorney.
Mayor.
Thank y'all. All right, thank you. I want to say, I think it's supposed to be about 6 o'clock that morning, 7 o'clock. I'll find out. Pretty sure he's going to put us on the 7 o'clock hour. Tony Brown. Between 7 and 7:30. I think Wendy Callahan, along with myself, will be on that. As far as I know, I don't know. I wanted to say something about this brother here in closing. Brother David, would you come over here for a second?
Sure.
This is Brother David Deal, Minister David Deal, and what he's been doing, he's actually taken it upon himself to come down to make sure that our story gets out. He says that you can't always depend on your local medium to do what we need to do, and he's out there internet. He says to me that I'm on YouTube already, and they punching in, hitting in all over the place. So listen, he's going to tell you a little bit about what he does, because it may be that some other of us need to know how to tap into his site.
Thank you, Mayor. My name is David Deal. I live in Arcadia, and a couple of years ago when Barack Obama was elected president, the local newspaper there, they refused to cover the story. And a lot of people, a lot of blacks in Arcadia got upset. And I went looking for the story. I expected it to be there in the paper. It wasn't there. The clerk at the store, she said, it's not in there. And I'm like, well, how do you even know what I'm looking for? I'm flipping through. She said, I know what you're looking for, and it's not in there. And I said, okay, well, you know what that means, right? It means we need our own voice. So at that time, I decided to start a Black Christian online newspaper. And so what I've begun to do is just cover various stories of interest. And I've covered a few stories in Grambling last year. A lot of things were going on there. A few stories in Arcadia, and now here. And what I wanted to say to you about the benefit of an online newspaper is we can get the story up, we can get it immediately, but it also, there's permanency in what's placed on the internet. And my goal is to be a man of integrity like your brother here. And when I write a story, I'm making sure that what I'm writing is accurate. Not only that, if I'm writing a story about him, I'm going to let him review the story before it gets published. That's the way I did the mayor in Grambling, and she appreciated that, because what she told me was that every time she would put a story out there, the words got twisted, the story turned out to be something completely different than what she put out there. So I wanted to make sure that everybody gets a chance to tell their own story. So before the mayor's office was raided yesterday, we had just interviewed the day before, and I had a story, I had an article ready to go, I had the video already ready to go, and then this jumped off. So I wanted to let you all know that the mayor has given some very detailed explanations as to what's going on, and there is a permanent record on the internet of it. And I wanted you all to know this, because some of you are computer literate and you network with other people across the country. And there are people very interested in this story all around the country, if not the world. And the situation that I wanted to talk to you about was, for those of you who want my card, I've got plenty of business cards. We are located at thefount.org. It's the Fount Online News, and you can simply go to the internet, type in the Fount, FOUNT.org. And I have business cards, and what I'm looking to do is, when stories are published, like your mayor's story, when I'm through typing it up and it's all approved and it gets published, what we want to do is get that out there. We want to get that story out there. So what I'm asking is, when you get my business card, you're going to get my email address, and I want you to email me so I can put you in a group email list. So every time an article comes out, you're going to get a link to it in your email, and then from there, you can send it out to your contacts. And this is one way that we're going to be able to network, because there are people all over Louisiana that are interested in this mayor's story. And with the prospect of an Al Sharpton coming down here, you're not alone in trying to raise the funds necessary to get that support. So all I'm saying to you is, if you want to network, that's one of the purposes of this website. It's not just about seeing how many hits we can get. No, it's a service to you all. This is what I do in my ministry. It's a free service. So that's all I wanted to say, and basically just give you all a chance to know there is an online newspaper that is here for you. Amen.
All right. Isn't that great? And God has put people in places. I met this brother years ago. He was fighting in Arcadia then, and he's been fighting ever since. And when he sees that there is a need to show up, to help out, he's always been there. And he hits me probably every day on my text message.
Yeah, text message.
And give me that word that I need to keep me going. And so, and sometimes it's a long time before I holler back. But thank you, brother, for what you're doing. Appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's get that. All right, that concludes. I think, would y'all want to do this at least once a month here? Want to do it? All right. I'll commit to that. You know, especially during the warm days, we'll come out here and make sure that anything that you want to ask about, you have the opportunity to do so, and things that you may not know about, I'll be ready to provide the information for you. Thank you for coming out. Do see the council lady, Anna Pinell. Do see one of these ladies and let it be known that if you don't want to help today, at least to make a promise commitment, and we'll be looking for you to help out in the near future. Thank you. Thank you.